Are you serious? You're the one with the issue. Why haven't you paid for the place we stayed? Because you left me. Just bring the money over. I won't because I was left behind. I didn't even want to go on that trip. I've been married to my husband for 6 years. We have a cute 5-year-old daughter, and watching her grow up is the best part of my life. But our relationship is really bad right now. I quit my job when our daughter was 1, and my husband said that if I wasn't working, I had to handle all the housework. So I did everything around the house and took care of our child alone. When our daughter was a baby, I struggled to get enough sleep. I asked my husband for help, but he just said he would divorce me if I complained. He even showed me the divorce papers and put them in a drawer in front of me. Whenever something went wrong, he would take out the divorce papers and talk about leaving, looking disgusted. My mother-in-law, who raised him, is just like him. She's always popping in unannounced, opening the fridge without asking, and eating my son's yogurt. If that was all she did, I might manage, but she also lectures me on how to be a good wife, especially after my husband complains about me. She even finds dust in the corners of the house to criticize me. So when she says she has good news, I don't trust her. She came over recently and said, "What's wrong with you? You should be happier about my good news. You're really not nice. My son is right." "What's the news?" "We're going on a trip." "Really? Where to?" "It's your job, since you're not working, to figure that out." "What do you mean?" "Seriously, you're not very bright, are you?" "It's unfortunate. I have a surprise for my son, who works so hard." "A surprise?" "Yes. Let's all help him relax. The thing is, my mother-in-law wants to go on a trip with her son, but doesn't want to pay for it. So she thought she'd invite me and our daughter too, hoping I'll cover the costs." "Who would want to go on such a trip?" "I definitely don't, and we can't afford it anyway. Let's make it an amazing trip." I never agreed to go. I need some time to think. I ended the conversation with my mother-in-law, feeling unsure about what to do. When my husband came home that night, he was clearly upset. I could tell why. My mother-in-law must have told him what happened. "I heard you went against my mother today." "I was just being honest." "What? Are you saying we can't take her on vacation?" "Exactly. We don't have the money for it." My mother-in-law said it was a surprise and had already told my husband about the trip. "What's the surprise in this?" "If we're having money problems, it's your fault." "How can I manage what we don't have?" "Are you saying I don't make enough money?" "Well, it's not much." "Are you kidding me? Anyway, I'm definitely going on this trip. You have to plan everything. If you can't, we're getting a divorce." I might as well get a divorce now, but I'm worried about what my daughter will think. That's my only concern. In the end, I had to find a hotel, even though I wasn't sure about the trip. After talking to my husband, my mother-in-law started making very specific demands. She wanted a room with an open-air bathtub and the best meals, among other things. I wondered how much it would cost to meet her demands, but I knew if I didn't, she'd make sarcastic comments. So I decided to go ahead and meet her requests, even if it was shameless. I managed to get everything she wanted. When she found out, she was still very tense and irritated, and said something I couldn't really understand. "It's because I suggested everything to her. Without my mom, you wouldn't have gotten the place." My husband started lecturing me as usual during dinner. After 4 years of this, I was used to it and just let him go on. The one good thing was that he didn't make sarcastic remarks in front of our daughter, probably because he didn't want to show that side of himself to her. On the day of the trip, I was driving. I rented the car and was behind the wheel. My husband was just sitting in the passenger seat like he owned the car, and my mother-in-law was in the back, not paying any attention to our daughter. Instead, she was talking to herself about souvenirs. I had been driving all morning, and neither my husband nor my mother-in-law offered to help. I wasn't allowed to take a break, so we finally stopped at a rest area when my daughter needed to use the bathroom. I quickly took her to the restroom and rushed back to the car, but it was gone. I drove around the parking lot, panicking, but the car was nowhere in sight. I called my husband, but there was no answer, so I called my mother-in-law. "You guys took too long," my mother-in-law said with a laugh. "We left you behind." I tried to explain that I had only been gone for a few minutes, but my husband interrupted. "This is your fault for not listening to me. You don't deserve to go on this trip." "Was that your plan from the start?" "If it was, then what about our daughter, Nina? She's just like you. She's been acting up lately and even talked back to Mom. She needs to be punished too. But she was looking forward to this trip. I'll reconsider when you both apologize. If you understand, you can go home now. My husband hung up the phone. So what do we do now? It's a long way home. Mom, are you okay? Did Dad and Grandma leave us? I guess so. They're so mean, aren't they? Yeah, they are. Are we going home? Yeah, but I know you were looking forward to this trip. But I only wanted to go because I was with you, Mom. If we're going home, I want to go home too. Then let's have an adventure together. An adventure? My daughter's happy smile lifted my spirits. I called my friend Lisa, who lives nearby, and explained what happened. She quickly came to pick us up and take us home. Hey, what are you going to do? My friend waited until my daughter was asleep before she started talking. I think I'm going to get a divorce. That's good. You've put up with a lot. Yeah, and I don't want to stay married to someone who treats our daughter badly. I signed the divorce papers and asked Lisa to be a witness. My mother-in-law was already listed as another witness, so I could file the papers right away. 3 days after we got home, my phone rang right after I dropped my daughter off at kindergarten. You've got to be kidding me. You're the one with the problem. Why haven't you paid for the accommodation? Because you're the one who left me. You should have paid in advance. Oh, really? And why does the hotel cost $6,000? That's because we had to meet all of your mother's demands. Come over here with the money as soon as possible. I'm not going to. I'm the one who was left behind, and I didn't even want to go on that trip. You and your mother enjoyed yourselves, so why don't you split the cost? That's $3,000 each. At that moment, I heard a woman's voice on the other end of the line. It's time for you to pay. If you don't, I'll call the police. No problem, my wife will pay. She's on her way here right now. Where is your wife now? At home. I checked your address, and it seems like you're far from there. You left her at the service area and now expect her to come just to pay. Excuse me? Your wife and I have been friends since high school. I was the one who picked up your wife and daughter from the service area. I asked my old friend for help with this trip. She offered me a free stay at the hotel she owns. In high school, she was struggling with her future. Her family owned a well-known hotel, but she had other dreams. As the only daughter, she had to take over the hotel even though it wasn't what she wanted. She told me that I was the one who supported her the most during that tough time. She felt she owed me, so she's returning the favor now. I told her she didn't need to pay, she could stay at the hotel. But she's not here. I don't have any personal connection with you, so you're just hotel guests. Since you're only guests, you need to pay the full price. Alright, how about you use your credit card to pay for now, and you can charge it to your wife later. I don't want to do that. It's not that you don't want to, it's that you can't. Wait, what do you mean? Your son's salary is $1,200 and the credit card limit is only $3,000. What do you mean, your wife is lying? You said you were making a good salary. My husband just stayed silent. He's a salesman and he earns more if he gets contracts, but he only gets the minimum guaranteed salary. Despite having a lot of sales, he only gets the minimum pay, so he doesn't have enough money. Don't tell me you're going to use your savings to pay. That's reserved for the divorce, alimony, and child support. What are you talking about? I filed for divorce. Didn't you say you divorced me anytime? Yes, and I filed the papers as quickly as I could. So if we're not married anymore. Hold on a minute. I'm not waiting. My husband eventually agreed to pay Lisa in installments. I then hired a lawyer and officially filed for custody of my daughter, child support, and alimony. I moved my daughter back to my parents' house. One of Lisa's hotel regulars is an executive at my husband's company, and he told him to pay for the stay in full. My mother-in-law, who divorced when my ex-husband was in middle school and planned for him to support her in the future, learned about my ex-husband's income. She then contacted me, asking me to reconsider the divorce. I can't believe she has the nerve to ask that after everything she's done to me. My ex-husband also called, saying our daughter needs a father and suggesting we remarry and live together. My daughter is happy living with my parents. I don't understand why he's saying this now since he never took care of her before. My ex-husband went back to his mother's house right after the divorce. He had poor performance at work and wasn't good at planning, so he made a last-minute vacation booking for that trip. His inability to pay for the hotel became known through a company executive, and now he feels very embarrassed at work. Next weekend, I'm taking my daughter to the house hotel. I started a new job to build a better future for us. It's been a long time since I worked, but it's so much more fulfilling than my marriage ever was. The idea that children need both parents together didn't apply to us. I believe it's more important for children to have happy parents. I've learned a lot from this divorce. The only thing that hasn't changed is my commitment to putting my daughter first. With her, I can always do my best. People like my ex-husband seem to have a lot of confidence. I wonder where they get it from. Overall, I think the divorce was the right choice. I'm grateful for my wonderful daughter and supportive friends. I hope you find peace and happiness with your daughter from now on. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this, please subscribe to the channel. See you in the next video.